The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a Tuesday morning here in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene is alongside. And, it's a threadbare Tuesday.
I'm not going to lie. We have not been clicking on all cylinders for about 2 days now.
Yeah.
So, but I will say this based off last night. The NFL's drunk.
Drunk?
The NFL's drunk and needs to go home.
Why?
What in the whole fuck was that? How does that even happen?
What, the Rams beat the Cardinals?
They had one running back.
Uh-huh.
One.
Uh-huh.
They didn't have their best defensive player.
Yep.
Well, best back-end defensive player. And they literally beat the high holy hell out of the Cardinals for 3 quarters. How does that happen? I even picked it, and I still don't understand it.
Well, it does help when you have an amazing pass rush that can get after Kyler Murray and make things a little uncomfortable for him, force him into making mistakes, and he played right into it all night long. It wasn't the greatest of outings for Kyler Murray. He missed a couple of big throws, threw 2 interceptions. Aaron Donald is an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah, he's real good at the football.
And Matt Stafford was good. Matt Stafford was good last night.
He was fantastic.
They were running more play action. He hit a couple of big ones on some play action plays. This is how dangerous this LA Rams team can be.
Odell Beckham looked like, 5 years ago, Odell Beckham.
Uh-huh. And there was a little luck involved as well. I mean, that touchdown to Cooper Kupp, had it been anybody other than Marco Wilson covering him, that play would have, A, been broken up, or B, that ball would have been intercepted.
So are you trying to shade Marco Wilson? Because he's actually been very good.
I understand that. But last night, it seemed like he was, that was, he got burned on the Odell Beckham Jr. touchdown.
Well, he's an emotional character. We already know this.
Right. He got
Things
burned.
Start going not his way, and they come off the rails really quickly.
He got burned on the slant by Odell Beckham Jr. for the touchdown, and then he was just a hair off of his coverage on the Cooper Kupp touchdown. I'm not trying to lay all the blame on Marco. I'm just saying, I feel like they were just a little step behind last night. But these are two of the best teams in the NFC. 2 of the best teams in the NFC, and we got a hell of a game out of it.
I feel like that was the fantasy gods going, you outpicked him, so we're only going to cost you a game in this ridiculous week of nonsensical bullshit.
Right. I wrapped up, beat the Chief this week, got the win. But you gained the game on me last week.
Yeah, you didn't.
Or last night. Excuse me. You didn't mean to. How many times have we heard Jeremy say you didn't mean to this year? Going with 8 now. This is 8 weeks now.
Well, let's be really honest. Let's just go through the games that you beat me on. And actually, you know what? I'm going to have to look at the sheet because I don't remember which games they were.
You don't remember which
I remember
ones.
A few of them.
I know the Tampa Bay one was one of them. Because as soon as it went to overtime, I went, shit. That number's 3.5, and I'm not going to cover it.
And you
then,
shouldn't
boom,
have.
Touchdown.
And you shouldn't have, except for somehow Sean McDermott went, single high safety. Let's put a linebacker on Brashad Perriman.
Yep.
And the whole time I'm going, just fall down. Just fall down. Oh, you have to just kick a fucking field goal. Kick a fucking field goal. Just fall down.
Why would you do that? You're going with the walk-off touchdown, baby.
That was one of them.
Which nullified the pass interference. I mean, they'd have run that play again, and he'd have been gone regardless. Without that 19 yards.
It didn't nullify the pass interference.
Of course
you shouldn't have been in overtime in the first place because they should have had the ball on the fucking 1.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that didn't nullify anything.
What were the other ones?
Cincinnati, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, all you got to do is score a touchdown. They really hadn't slowed you down all day.
Right.
So why
When you're at the 15-yard line, do you kick the field goal in overtime?
Well, I mean, how do you even get there? You had gotten pretty much anything you wanted, and then Zach Taylor just went absolutely out of his gourd calling that offense inside the red zone. You had another one, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, Dallas, Washington.
Yeah.
If Washington had figured out that game started at 1 instead of the 3 that I think they were told. Oh, and Carolina. Why in God's name did I pick Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to run the ball. Yeah, but they suck. Oh, yeah, they suck. I forgot that. So frustrating. This whole year has just been shenanigans.
Right.
It's just been a year of shenanigans.
Well, look, and that's when I'm at my best.
100%.
I'm at my best when shit hits the fan. And it gives me a 4-game lead on Jeremy with just 4 games left to go in the contest.
Oh,
Chief Zach's 11 behind though, and that's not good for him.
Yeah, in a segment that's named for him.
Right. The defending champ not having the best of luck this year. Ooh. But last night's game, I mean, to me, as we said yesterday on the ESPN Asheville show, it wasn't a must-win for the LA Rams, but it was a need to win. And they got it.
I have to say something before I forget this.
Okay.
So I am the world's worst at birthdays.
Okay.
With events of yesterday, I have spent way more time on social media in the last 2 days than I usually do. So, happy news. Happy birthday, Rob Johnson. I saw it this morning, and I went, hey, I saw one of those for once.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Rob.
I mean to look at those every day. I have been on social media more the last 2 days than I usually am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just so happened to notice it. Wanted to make sure we got that out there.
Okay. Jason Trump's asking for the baby face to put up for me. Why?
Why? Because you're just a big syrupy bitch. Like
I am.
I am. Do we need another reason? I have the Bruce Valanche face if you'll settle for that one.
That is the worst insult you have ever given me.
It's like the 3rd time I've done it. And now that
John Tenta was better than that.
And equally accurate, but way less funny.
It's not accurate at all.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. You're one just a couple pina coladas and Bruce Valanche. That's
wow. That hurts me. It hurts me deeply. So as it being a threadbare Tuesday, anything you want talked about, we will talk about here over the next 45 minutes or so. Look, I think I definitely was not expecting that last night, but now that Arizona has lost another game, now it puts 3 teams there at the top of the NFC. And Green Bay reclaims the number 1 seed.
I have to say this too. Happy belated birthday to Michael Whiteside. I said it to him in person, then I forgot to say it on the show.
Aha.
Because I'm an asshole.
Well, happy birthday, Michael.
Yeah. I saw him in person and went, hey.
Does anybody else have birthdays that we need to call out?
I am the world's...
Happy birthday to my dead grandmother whose birthday was yesterday.
I am the world's worst about birthdays. Like, I just am.
Yeah, I am too.
I am not the guy that says happy. Eddie Fox, it has always blown my mind that he has 40 gajillion people that watch his show, and he can literally say happy birthday to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's an Amanda thing. I just feel like it has to be.
Okay. Thank you, Armchair. I mean, I want to say it on the air.
100%.
Said he doesn't have to read it. We don't have to read it on the air, but donation for your EP. I don't know what that means. EP.
You know what? All right.
EP?
So
Okay.
I've officially come to the. We need a calendar of everyone's birthday.
Yes,
and we can put it on the screen. I'm doing new graphics for the relaunch of the show. We can make this work. But I'm going to need somebody to champion the cause because I am too stupid to do it.
You're too stupid. Oh, for your executive producer. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that. And there will be more coming as well. Those of you who do not know what that is referring to, our executive producer, and I will say this in no slight at all to Patrick Holt, but the original founding father of the Sportsocracy, because we would not be here at all. This project never would have gotten off the ground had Corey Short not said, yeah, I got the cameras. Come on, let's do this thing. And Corey Short lost his son Pacey in a car accident the other night. That's what we were talking about yesterday. Of, go home and hug your children a little tighter tonight, because you just never know when's the last time you're going to be able to do that. So there will be efforts to help out the Short family. We just at this time, everything is so fresh, everything is so new. Everybody's dealing with their feelings over this, losing a 17-year-old kid. It's horrible. It's an absolutely horrible thing for this family to deal with. And so, yes, David Smith, Armchair Commentary, we absolutely appreciate the donation, and we will make sure that the Short family is taken care of, because they have done nothing but take care of us in the last 2 years, and the relationships that they have built across the community stretch way beyond that. Yeah, and we didn't. Obviously, we wanted to give some time, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't talked about it because I can't talk about it. Right. So it's just. Mm-hmm. But we will be championing those efforts and making sure that everybody knows how they can help out the Short family in this grave time of need. All right. So last night in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers, they were able to reclaim the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. Question now stands, can they hold on to it? Can Tampa Bay make a play for that number 1 seed, or can Arizona gain it back? Unfortunately, I think the Green Bay Packers are on a tear right now. Remember when we all talked about the fuck you tour of Aaron Rodgers, that this was going to be fuck you tour 2.0? That's exactly what we're seeing. The only thing is, it's not just Aaron. I mean, Aaron was great last year with his 43 touchdowns or whatever he threw. Now it's they're all involved. Now the defense has stepped up to become a force in the NFL. I think they are the most complete team right now. And if I had to bet money on one team to win the Super Bowl, it would be the Green Bay Packers. I would bet against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a heartbeat.
I don't have a button for this. You're gonna have to look in the chat, because I don't have a button for that.
Wow.
Yeah, Patrick Holt. If I make it through this show, it's going to be nothing short of incredible. Oh. I am not going to cry in public. That has been my declaration for 2 solid days.
Yep. So, Patrick, we love you, brother. Thoughts and prayers. Horrible tragedy. God is tragedy, and God is good, and it's part of His plan. $100 to the Short family, and we will make sure that it gets there. Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
I'm in very close contact with the ones running point on this. So.
Yes.
I know these are not things that I don't do things like this well.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not an emotional person in the least.
Yeah.
And
So do you think that the Green Bay Packers will hang on to the number 1 seed? Because I think they will.
They're the best team in the NFC. That's really the only thing I can tell you, is that beyond a shadow of a doubt, they're to me, they're without a doubt the best team in the NFC. They're without a doubt the most consistent. The Arizona Cardinals were just flat out not good last night.
Right.
Like that. What did they do well? Kyler Murray was running for his life.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's just mind-boggling to me, virtually everything that the Rams were missing last night are things that Arizona should have been able to take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. That's the reason the Rams struggle with the 49ers so much, by the way.
Yeah.
Because their linebacking core sucks. And so you get into this weird, how are you going to hold up against them front? That's why I picked the Rams on Friday. And then there's no Jalen Ramsey, there's no Darrell Henderson, there's no on and on and on. When you're playing cornerbacks that I'm going, who? I mean, for me to say that, that's saying some shit.
Right.
When I'm like, I don't really know who that is. Kendrick Orr, I barely remembered him from, I think it was 2 years ago. He had never played a snap in the NFL, or hadn't played a snap all this year. You didn't even have Robert Rochelle, the small school kid that I talked about a lot.
Yeah.
He's been fine.
Yeah. Jason Trump asks, can a warm weather quarterback go into Green Bay and win? Tom is not a warm weather quarterback, obviously, with all of his years of experience with the New England Patriots. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because, honestly, I don't expect that out of Matt Stafford. I mean, and he's the only one that doesn't qualify as a warm weather quarterback. To me, that question is geared toward Kyler Murray. And can Kyler Murray go to Green Bay and be successful in god-awful weather in the playoffs? I don't think he can.
Well, the difference between Green Bay this year and the Green Bay that we've seen before, and it's the one that it's talked about because it's fantasy relevant. The A.J. Dillon thing changes things. Mm-hmm. Because now you have two running backs that I think are equitably talented. I'm not sure A.J. Dillon's not better than Aaron Jones.
I don't believe that.
Well, you don't have to believe it. Every metric bears that out, that he is better than Aaron Jones. And it just adds a dynamic to this offense. Mm-hmm. Of at any given time, they can do damn near anything. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that they don't have that second high-end receiving threat. And Mercedes Lewis adds something. Mercedes Lewis is another undervalued part of this that I really genuinely, you can't undersell it. Robert Tunyon's not a great blocker. And so you get Mercedes Lewis, who is one of the best blockers in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you put him on the end, and now, opening holes for Aaron Jones and for A.J. Dillon. It just changes the dynamic of what that offense looks like. And so you've taken some of the onus off Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to be fuck you to Aaron Rodgers all the time.
Yeah.
Now he can just be real, real good when he needs to be good. And the rest of the time, hey, I'll just turn around and hand the ball off.
Mm-hmm. I don't think a warm weather quarterback can go in there and win. I think it takes a special kind of cat to do that. And Tampa Bay's got one of those. The problem that Tampa Bay has is their secondary god awful.
Yeah, you're. I got news for you. You're not winning a Super Bowl with a defense like that. You're just not.
I agree.
You're just not going to do it.
I agree. We'll host 2 playoff games and then be done. I think it goes on that. I mean, you can win those 2 games at home. Yeah, okay, sure. But then what comes after that? Because, I mean, the way things could shake out, you could see a replay of Washington, Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay in the first round. If Tampa Bay has the 2 seed, Washington has the 7, and then you go on and face the LA Rams in the second round at home. Make it through that one. Then guess what? You got to go on the road to Green Bay. Do I think that can happen 2 years in a row? Well, Green Bay has lost 3 years in a row in the NFC Championship game. Or is it just 2 years in a row now? Anyway, anything's possible. But I would say right now, all chips on the table. You had to go all in on one team to win the Super Bowl. I'm going Green Bay Packers.
I am too.
It hurts my heart to say that, but
it
is what it is.
I don't have buttons for those things either.
Buttons.
I'm telling you right now, if I make it through an hour of this, I'm going to be slightly dumbfounded.
Oh, wow. Thoughts and prayers for the Short family. Thank you, Michael Whiteside. Absolutely. 25 from Adam Black. Romans 8:28. James 1:2-4. Psalms 23. Praying for the family, or praying for the family that they'll gain a peace that's beyond this world. Rex Buttrick. Thoughts and prayers with the Short family. Thank you, guys. so much. That means a whole hell of a lot. Absolutely.
It's times like this that we actually feel like we're, that we have a role in life.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We come in every day and we have we pour our heart and soul into this thing, and we're here to entertain you and have discussions with you and all of this. And we always tell you that you're part of our family. And to see you guys reciprocate that day in and day out and truly embrace the fact that we are family is just, I mean, it absolutely, it's like the Grinch moment of just the heart swells 3 sizes too big. And we cannot thank you enough for this. Absolutely.
Oh man, and I'm a heartless motherfucker.
Right.
Just straight up.
Right. You're not, though. You try to play that role. Jeremy tries to play the big badass, I don't care about things. And then it's times like these you actually get to see the real Jeremy Greene that doesn't put up the barriers and hide behind all of the jokes, which is absolutely why we love you, man. We do.
Oh, yeah. It's...
The goal is not to make you cry, but I'm just throwing that out there. There's a reason that through 2 years of doing this program and not knowing where the next day is going to lead us in this journey, that I have hung into this.
Oh.
It's because we are family.
Very much so.
We are a family, and we love doing this. We absolutely love doing this. We absolutely love y'all. And,
I talk to many of you guys more than I talk to anybody.
Right.
I had some of you who I have literally never laid eyes on. If you walked in a couple of you, I wouldn't know if you walked in the studio.
Yep.
But it is times like these that you just, that's the amazing part of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a very weird turn, but explaining this show to people is a lot like explaining porn. I can't really explain it to you.
Right.
Like that. I mean, I give you the definition of it, and you're going to look at me like I'm a fucking crazy person. And then things like this happen, and I can just go, hey, that is exactly why we do it. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike Rawson. Thoughts and prayers for the family. Absolutely. Carolina Panthers. Did you see what Matt Rule said yesterday?
I did not. I saw what Urban Meyer said.
We'll get to that in a second.
And it made me laugh. But
we'll get to that in a second. Matt Rule, so we were talking yesterday about Cam Newton, what needs to happen. Sam Darnold, obviously trying to make a comeback here from the injury that he's been on IR for. And Matt Rule said yesterday he is not a factor, that he is still at least 2 weeks away from coming back, which makes me think, just keep going. Just keep going with P.J. Walker. I think they should take the starting job away from Cam Newton.
I think
go back to what you did.
Right, but that's
See, I disagree with that because Cam Newton can be used as a piece in this offense, much the way that he was used in Arizona. In that Arizona game, when they were just bringing him in for goal-to-go packages and stuff like that, he can have a usable role there. Now, hopefully, the deal that they signed with him, was it as long as he's on the roster, he gets bumped up in pay, or was it all tied to starts?
I believe a lot of it's roster bonus.
Okay.
So, I mean, if he's not on the roster, he's not getting paid.
So we know
there were
that.
incentives and things like that. I don't even really, I mean, and I do care about that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't. Because him being in the building is not a good thing. It's not.
Yeah, but as you said earlier this season, when they made this decision, now that you brought him back in the building, you can't do anything.
Oh, no, you can't now. Oh, no, I was totally wrong.
You think so? He's been so bad.
He's been so bad.
All right.
And I'm trying to remember now what Kevin Vick calls it. The Camther fans, I believe, is what.
Okay.
I mean, there are still some of those.
Yes. But he's been so bad that the outrage over cutting him would not be overwhelming.
Let me just throw this out there to you. You're going to have to moderate the chat, or you're literally going to see me like curl up in the floor. So, that's on you.
I got you.
Clear and clear delineation of labors.
Yes.
that one's yours.
I will definitely take care of that. Jason Trump, thank you very much. The molecules of your body are the same molecules that make up this station and the nebula outside that burn inside the stars themselves. We are star stuff. That's deep.
That is without a doubt the smartest comment that has ever been said on the show.
It is.
And it was way too smart for me.
Right.
See, I make dick jokes and, make weird bar references.
Yeah.
You get into star stuff, I know there are stars.
Yeah.
That's probably the best I got.
Kevin Vick will ring the bell for you. The Kevin Vick Memorial Bell. We are a big Sportsocracy family. All my love and prayers to the Short family. And then we'll close it out with Michael Whiteside on this round. He's still going to hit you in the ding-ding with a wiffle ball bat.
That's fine. I missed his birthday. He's allowed. I'm a jerk. He's one of my closest friends on this planet.
Because this is what we do. Though we embrace each other like brothers, but we still want to inflict pain on each other.
Patrick Holt asked in the comments, what are the thoughts about 36 players testing positive yesterday? All right, so this is going to take a hard right turn into Angry Jeremy.
Here we go.
We do all understand how flu season works, right? Like, we get that. Mm-hmm. When it gets cold, people are closer to each other, and so it cranks up. The requiring boosters, I could have told you that was going to happen. It's just like us. That's the way it's going to go. I actually saw an op-ed piece in the New York Times that said this is not going anywhere, and it's time we start realizing that. Mm-hmm. And it didn't go the path that I thought it was going to go, because I thought it was, shut it down, because it's the New York Times.
Right.
Which, for me, they could put the secret to happiness in the middle of that bitch, and I wouldn't know. But the gist of it was, all right, you got to figure out some way to deal with this. That's where the NFL's at. Mm-hmm. All right, you got to get to a point where common sense takes over.
Yeah.
It's more power to you. You can be as scared about this as you want to. We gotta find a way to move forward. Mm-hmm. Just because you're, I think at some point you have to get to just because you've tested positive for this does not mean you're actually a risk to other people.
Right. I would agree with that.
But now where that goes, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you yesterday was the most positives the NFL's had since this started.
Yes. And the question was asked, should the NFL start requiring boosters of players? No, they're not. They don't require vaccines to begin with. Why would they start requiring boosters? To me, it's the same argument that we've been having over and over again. If you think it helps, go get it. If not, you're taking your chances, and you should know that. I think that's where everybody lands on this thing. I mean, I've heard people go on and on. The other day, ESPN, one of their national shows, was talking about this, and, it's going to matter. Or no, it's Fox Sports. And, it's going to matter, and we should now know. We should have a registration where we should know all of the players that have had their vaccinations and the ones that haven't, and blah, 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 because this is going to matter, and the fans deserve to know if their playoff run is going to be, derailed
and that would
by all these guys, going into the non-vaccinated protocols.
And that would be all well and good, except the same guys that are vaccinated are doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So does it take longer? Yeah, if you're not. But it's also, and I can't emphasize this enough, none of your damn business. I feel like I have been saying this for 2 solid years.
Mm-hmm. Adam Black says, not to get political, have you noticed there's not much discussion on treatment, just the vax, even though the vax doesn't prevent it? Exactly. Well, and there's not a lot of treatment talk because they don't really do anything to treat you for this. Now, let me give you a window inside what happened in my house last week. My wife's been sick, like dog dead sick, for 4 days in a row. I finally convinced her to go to the doctor. She goes to the VA, and they start running tests. Said, we're going to do a coronavirus test on you. Okay. Well, you got to leave, though, until we get the results back. It'll take an hour for us to get the results back. So she came over here and hung out in the parking lot because she didn't want to go in, she didn't want to come in the building and possibly expose any of us to it, which was the smart thing to do. But they told her at the VA, if you test positive for the coronavirus, there's nothing we can do. You're going to go home. We're not even going to give you, there's no medicine that we can give you. There's no nothing. Like, you just go home. And then if it gets really bad and you have to be put on a vent or something, then you come back. I don't really understand that. Like, there's medicine to treat everything. If you got COVID, and they're just going to send you home to what? See if it gets worse and possibly die?
Look, I'm Patrick Holt basically just posted out a exact example of what I'm getting ready to say.
Uh-huh.
Amy and I have a friend that is in medical billing that has told us that exact same thing for 2 solid years now.
Uh-huh.
The difference between dying of it and dying with it.
Right.
That's where nobody has had a clear delineation. I've been saying that for 2 solid years.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I whatever your leanings are, Clay Travis has been at the forefront of that since, I don't know, 10 minutes into this.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, at some point, you have to get past this shit.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not going to lie to you. When we were doing this show from the bunker, I came about that close to losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is, oddly enough, the second time I've talked about this in 24 hours. Don't really know why.
Yep.
But we got to get somewhere because this has gotten completely insane.
Mm-hmm.
The level of the dissension in this country baffles me.
Yep.
I mean, it baffles me. Rob Johnson asked if there was a GoFundMe page for the family. Not to my knowledge, because this is a family that would never ask for anything. And so where this is going to go, I have no idea. You guys giving money is just that's baffling to me. I don't even know what it's going to go to. I'm going to they run a restaurant in Nashville. Their bar manager is taking care of all these things. I'm just going to hand it to him and go, you assess that where it needs to go.
Yep. And if there is a GoFundMe, we can do a one lump, Sportsocracy.
Payment.
Yeah, exactly. One Sportsocracy donation where everybody's, everybody will be represented from the Sportsocracy. Just to know.
Something else to tell you about YouTube revenue. Yep. We don't get all of that, but we've hit the threshold for this month. So we're
right.
Good on that.
Oh, we'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll make sure it gets allocated where it needs to.
That's right. I don't know that the NFL needs to do anything extra than they're doing right now. I mean, the Players Association has been talking to the players and telling them the best ways to stay, to guard yourself from it. They know the protocols to follow. If they're not going to follow it, then I can't help you.
Well, I mean, and that's, if you remember when we started this show, that's the whole reason we started this show.
Mm-hmm.
Was because we got so tired of being inundated by all of our sports being just taken over by this shit. Because we felt like there had to be people out there that were like us that were getting tired of getting inundated with this every single day. And that's how this show started.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where we go.
Yep. I mean, the Chicago Bulls had 2 of their games that were postponed because they got 10 guys in the COVID protocols. Now the NFL has had their biggest positive return of any day since the coronavirus thing started. I think a lot of it has to do with not only the flu season, but also, people are getting complacent. There's a lot more complacency now of, I haven't gotten it for 2 years, so I don't feel like I have to follow the protocols or distance anymore or do the mask thing or whatever.
Our show, Adam Black said our show isn't sponsored by Pfizer, but it could be. Look, we'll take sponsorship from Bobby's Boom Boom Room. Okay, self-funded. All right, yeah. So as long as that check clears, right, I'll endorse a lot of things.
And that's the other part of this. Like, you keep seeing these stories. Oh, Pfizer comes out and says there's going to be another vaccine or another booster required. Of course they are, because this is how they make their money. How many years? And I'm sorry, maybe I'm flashing back into my political talk radio days, but how many times have we done shows and heard stories about big pharma? This is exactly how it all works. They find a hole in the economy and go, hey, we can fill it. Of course, there's always going, as long as this stuff still exists, there's going to be vaccination after vaccination after vaccination.
I have long said this is like a casino saying, hey, we have a new machine that pays out fractionally more than the last one did.
Right.
And people just flock to it and go, how much money can I put in this motherfucker right now?
Right.
And that's literally what I've been watching the world do for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get super behind. I feel like our mornings are like, I feel like our mornings are like the group therapy session.
They are.
So one of the things that we have discovered in the last, 2 years is we can say way more things than we ever thought we could.
Mm-hmm.
There are times that he has said shit that I go, oh no, mommy, daddy button, that's not good at all. And then nobody has a problem with it. And literally, the edgier we get and the more all of these things we get, the more people seem to like us and the more people seem to want to give us money, which is just, for me, in the new year, it's going to be a little edgier.
Because it's truth and honesty. It's the one thing that everybody who gets into broadcasting always talks about. Well, I want to make a difference in this world, and I want to always be truthful and only report things that are supported by facts. People appreciate that. People appreciate you being honest and giving your honest assessment. Look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't dive into this shit and you read all of the government reports and all that kind of stuff and break down vaccines and all of this stuff. I gather what information I can, and then I impart the best knowledge that I think I can to you. If you feel like, here's the thing, if you feel like the booster's going to do something good for you, extra protection, go out and get it. I've already made my decision. I'm not getting a booster. I have seen everybody who has gotten a booster has then reported back to me, I have felt the worst I've ever felt in my life with the 3 to 17 day span after the booster.
Well,
I'm not going to do it.
Well, here's where I'm at. I do not understand how Joe Rogan has become public enemy number one, because he said out loud what worked for him. He didn't tell you what to do.
No.
If you get your medical advice from a podcast, more power to you. I don't care who you get it from.
Yep.
If you get medical advice from me, let me just tell you, your life expectancy is going to be markedly shorter because I take care of myself in a very piss poor way, which is why right now I can't bend over and touch my toes. But here's what we have discovered over the year and what have we done this now? A year and a half? We've been doing this show for a year and a half,
since the summer of 2020.
So here's what we've discovered. We've discovered that there are a number of people that just want to be entertained. Neither one of us are here breaking investigative journalism. No, we're telling dick jokes and fat jokes and sports jokes. And that's what we're here to do. And it's what we're going to continue to do. And we're going to steer more and more and more and more into this until somebody puts up a wall. The beauty of this is we have gotten exponentially further away from the line than I would have ever thought we could. And there hadn't even been a speed bump yet of, hey, it'd be cool if you just didn't do that.
Right.
Sweet. I'm very much like a dog. All right. If you keep letting me off the leash, I'll run around like a motherfucker. I mean, I'll just be doing sprints in the driveway like, yeah. And so that's what we're steering into for the new year. We're going to have new segments. We're going to have all kinds of new things. And look, we're still going to do lives in the morning from time to time. It's just all the scheduling things. Plus, there are a lot of people that watch us on the West Coast for, I don't know how. What I would love to know is how these people find us. Because that's the biggest thing for us is that we would love to have. All right, I'm going to say something. And this is going to be the weirdest thing that you probably ever heard me say. Not a week goes by that somebody doesn't tell us, and now this started as a vaccine conversation, and it's mutated into something, at least for me. Not a week goes by that somebody on our YouTube channel doesn't go, how do you not have 100,000 subscribers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know. If we did know,
we'd have them.
We would. and yeah, that's the ultimate goal. That's where we want to be. I mean, I'm going to look directly into this camera. One of the things I love about this show is how genuinely honest we can be.
Mm-hmm.
If we had 100,000 subscribers, do you realize how much money we would make off this shit? Our CPM is insane. Like, I look at it sometimes and go, that's broken. That's not even kind of true. So, for those of you that don't know, CPM that's how much YouTube pays you for your ads, the ads that they run. You guys watch so many ads that they won't even run ads on a lot of our videos because I say fuck, fuckity, fuck so often.
Yeah.
But the ones that they do, they pay us like some absurd amount for.
Mm-hmm.
If we had that, there would be no hell. We did what I mean. Wicked Weed and Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Right?
They'll be with us forever. We wouldn't have to have anything else because you guys are so unbelievably amazing to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I had a point to this. I'm not 100% sure I knew what it was. I mean, I did, but now I think I've lost it.
I think maybe where you were trying to go with that was that's where sharing comes in. I mean, as the more followers we get, here's the thing. I'm very certain that if we can get you in the door, we're going to keep you.
And that's the crazy part, is that I literally see every metric.
Look at G-Baby. G-Baby just said he found us while looking for an NFL draft live stream.
Mm-hmm.
We did the live stream. All hours of the draft were covered by us. G-Baby found us. He's from California. What the fuck do we have in common with some random guy from California? Probably a lot. But that's the thing, is like people stumble upon it, and G-Baby, he's one of the best. He's a part of the crew. You know?
And that's the goal, is that all these like-minded people and you know, just our objective in the new year is to grow this into. We have so many people that for some reason believe so much in us. And trust me, we ask this question a lot. Like, why? but why do you believe so much in us?
Right.
And we don't get it. But we love it. This is the best part of our day. And you know, the where I was headed with this, I remember now how I started here and got here.
Okay.
Is that we've had all this divisive shit about, this section of the world believes this and this. The world ain't that divided.
No
matter how much people want to tell you that it is.
Right, and they want to drive that because chaos sells.
And one of the beautiful things of this is that we've got so many people. The Discord server, the House of Reprehensibles. I'll give you a good example. Here's where that idea came from. You can't put a Discord server out. Like, you can't just put out a Discord server and go, hey, anybody can join it that wants to, because you know what it'll turn into? A series of very offensive messages from people that you can't touch.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to have a server where we could talk to the people that watch this show every day because we love you guys. And I'm going to be honest with you. There are days like yesterday, I hate the world.
Just can't.
Like, I don't have any, I ain't got nothing for you. Not for you. I don't have anything for the world. You know, we came in here and did 3 hours of radio yesterday, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was wound down in a banjo string for the vast majority of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw messages from you guys in that server of just, you know, we're here, and those things mean so much. And so the tie-in to all of this is this world's not as divided as you think it is. There are a lot of people that are just like us that are, in large part, dudes. I mean, we have women that watch the show, don't get me wrong, but I think it's 91% men watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
Our original intent for this is going to be like the Man Show for sports. If you remember the Man Show from the early 2000s,
yep,
with Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, that's where we started.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're here, and now we're to the grow it level. And the one thing that we're not ever going to do, what?
Adam Black. Hell of a comment, Adam Black. He says he enjoyed the Saturday show, and then when it came daily radio show came on, he was in. Always liked the Wise Guys, but they're too local because I don't care about Mars Hill baseball. And that was kind of the idea. If you're not from this market, you don't know. There's a direct competing show on at 3:00 at the competing radio group, and they're hyper local. They talk about everything, and it's funny that you use Mars Hill baseball because that's always been my shtick at them. Was I turned it on one day and they were talking about Mars Hill volleyball, and I went, "How is this consumable for the normal sports fan?" And so this all came from, we want a show that talks about the things that people are talking about. We don't have to be local because it's local. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to go into the breakdown of Inca Sugar Jets softball, even as much as Kevin Vick would want us to, because his daughter is one of the next Sugar Jets stars. And there's a merit to that. And that has its audience, but we wanted to appeal to a broader audience and talk about the things you're actually talking about. When important things are happening in the sports world locally, we will talk about it. But until that point, we're not going to waste your time and our time because we don't think that's entertaining.
Well, and that's not even it. Is there a part of that? Yes, but those guys already do that.
Yeah. Why would we try to do it?
We have a direct competitor that already does that.
Right.
So what was our objective? Our objective was to do a more consumable show on a broad spectrum. I mean, look, neither one of us were high-level athletes. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's what makes us better at this. Mm-hmm. Neither one of us ever ran 4.40s or anything like that. You know how we got into this? Because we worked our asses off to figure out the sport from the level of people that weren't good at it. Mm-hmm. And we never played in the NFL or anything like that. So I don't have stories like Keyshawn Johnson or Nay Brown, who we started this with, and I loved Nay.
Yeah.
I wish Nay was still here with us. I think he would add another level to this. Unfortunately, he moved away. Mm-hmm. In the new year, you're going to see a couple people that we got some characters coming. We got a couple things coming. But that's the long-winded rant that I've been on because my brain is like a fucking hard-boiled egg right now.
Right.
The objective here is to grow up into to the umpteenth degree with people just like you guys because they're everywhere. There are people everywhere they just want to be entertained.
Yep. And
that is what the NBA is supposed to do. It's what the NFL is supposed to do. It's not supposed to be this divisive political issue. And that's what it's all become. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to keep doing this until we're blue in the face. And as long as we've got you guys, I genuinely feel like nothing can stop us. Mm-hmm. Will it take longer? Sure, because we don't always do things the smartest way humanly possible.
Rob Johnson's roasting the Bengals brought in a lot of new fans.
It really did. I think that's why we have so many Bengals fans.
Yeah.
And we've got things that
I loved Safwan. Safwan said in the comments a little bit ago that he stumbled upon us because of the Bengals talk. And he said he got here, and it was kind of like being adopted. Like, he didn't realize it at the time, but this was his new family.
And that's the thing that we love about this. I mean, it really, I really wish that I could put a webcam into some of the business meetings that I have, mm-hmm. where people go, but look at your views. You know, they're not on par with this. And then I go, that's fine. Flip the page. Mm-hmm. Look at the engagement, which is, and I've said this before, top 2% on all of YouTube. Do you know how many channels there are on YouTube?
I don't know the answer to that.
It's 8 figures. There's over 10 million channels on YouTube. We're in the top 2% of engagement.
Yep. Let's see here. A sportsy thing. Bet Now guy says he swears that Ryan Tannehill has to be the worst fantasy quarterback. He has been so underwhelming this year, and it pains him to say that. I mean, I don't feel like you should be surprised by that.
No, the thing about Ryan Tannehill is he's always consistent. Mm-hmm. He would never have top 5 weeks, but he never had outside of the top 12 weeks. This year, that has not been the case because he's had several where he turned the ball over a whole bunch of times. And that's the risk when you and I think it was Chuck G that said this yesterday about Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. The problem with Brady is that he never throws for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's very, very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Very consistent.
And what has Ryan?
And if he has a couple interceptions, that can throw things all the way off.
And what has Ryan Tannehill been missing? Derrick Henry.
And
when you
Brown
when you don't have that killer running game to be able to open things up in the passing game, it doesn't really give you the ability to do more. Ryan Tannehill, I still maintain Ryan Tannehill's not that much different than what he was in Miami. I mean, it was god-awful, don't get me wrong. But I give a lot of that. He was a fine quarterback. He was a decent quarterback. But what did his coaching staff in Miami do? Everything to kill him.
Well,
everything to make him
hard.
Exactly.
Adam Gase could screw up a blowjob.
Right. And then he goes to Tennessee with Arthur Smith and that running game, and it was the perfect scenario. That's why he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. And then guess what happened? Derrick Henry gets hurt, as Jeremy's been screaming for 3 years that he's going to get hurt with the tote that he's gotten. A.J. Brown goes down. They brought in Julio Jones, and he's been banged up. He can't carry this team by himself. Ryan Tannehill is not a transcendent talent. He's just a really solid piece.
Ryan Tannehill is a very talented guy.
Yes.
I never thought he had the greatest arm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's the thing. The guy played wide receiver at Texas A&M to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's obviously not a judicious arm talent. Prodigious. What'd I say? What'd I say?
That's what I thought you said.
That's what I meant to say, but I told
Just
you.
keep rolling.
I told you my brain is. See, the way my brain works is that I got to check it in savings.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very talented player, but at the end of the day, he needs pieces around him. Secret time? 2/3 of the NFL's quarterbacks need that.
Mm-hmm.
There are not many quarterbacks that can go out with nothing and look really impressive. Derrick Carr. Derrick Carr's a perfect example. He had a deep threat in Henry Ruggs, and he had a great tight end in Darren Waller, and a great slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. He looked like an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Then Henry Ruggs goes away. Then Darren Waller goes away, hurt. And now what does he look like? Because he's a product of what's around him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he better than, if you take that 2/3 of quarterbacks, is he on the top side of that? Absolutely. But if you give him Zach Wilson's weapons from Sunday, yeah, he's going to look like dog shit most of the time. Kevin Vick said, maybe I said pernicious. Bingo. Drink different.
Michael White said you said judicious.
I use that word way too often. Like anything that ends in "icious," I just kind of substitute judicious. And if nobody calls me on it, we're just going to roll with it. Bet now, guys, what do we make of Kirk Cousins? He's another guy. He's a product of his weapons. He's Derrick Carr, North Side. He's got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Tyler Conklin and Dalvin Cook, and he had Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
He had great weapons. And I got news for you. That's what the vast majority of quarterbacks are. One of the hardest things for me breaking down draft prospects is no matter what I say, all right, and I'm trying to think of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's the best example of this I think I've ever had. If Sam Darnold goes to Cleveland and had Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry and Austin Hooper and Nick Chubb behind him and Kareem Hunt, he's a Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that until the day I die. If Josh Allen had gone to the Jets, he might not be in the league right now because I think he would have thrown 100 interceptions in the first 3 years in the league.
Right.
A lot of those things matter. And that's what I've always laughed at. A lot of the draft analysts get killed for, you were so wrong about Lamar Jackson. I've been crushed over, you were so wrong on Lamar Jackson. No, I wasn't. He's still a limited arm talent. He's got a big arm, but he's not very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't make very good decisions. But you built an offense around him. Put Lamar Jackson in Cleveland. How do you think that would have gone with that front office?
Right.
That was there before when the Baker Mayfield thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
it all matters.
Right.
But nobody ever wants to talk about that.
I feel like Kirk Cousins is probably one of the most undervalued quarterbacks of all time.
In what regard?
In the regard of everybody trashes him for being awful, and he's not. He's not awful. I think him and Matt Stafford are very similar in that respect. People want to trash them, but at the end of the day, they're damn good quarterbacks.
They're very solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, be really honest with yourself. I want to prove a point. Talk for a second. I want to prove a point.
Safwan says, put Derrick Carr on the Bucs and he'd win a Super Bowl too. He's a good enough quarterback, but he can't do it alone. I would be fine with Derrick Carr being the quarterback of that team. The problem is I don't think he could win a Super Bowl. Right. I don't think he could win a Super Bowl with that team because I think the only reason we won a Super Bowl is because of Tom. Tom was the only reason we won the Super Bowl. And I think it takes that little bit extra, the leadership, the, having the star power help that team win. It made that team believe that they were better than they were.
Name me a year between 2005 and 2015. Any year. I don't care which one.
2018. Or 2014.
Do you see what I deal with on a daily basis?
I'm sorry.
2014. All right. This is just touchdown leaders among quarterbacks in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Andrew Luck was 1, Peyton Manning was 2, Aaron Rodgers was 3, Tony Romo was 4, Tom Brady was 5. Mm-hmm. Breeze was 6. Then you go Roethlisberger, Rivers, Manning, Cutler, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, Ryan Tannehill. Really think about how many of those quarterbacks were elite. Peyton Manning was elite. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers was elite. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady was elite. Mm-hmm. Drew Brees was elite. Mm-hmm. Was Phillip Rivers? No. Phillip Rivers and Kirk Cousins are way more similar than you think they are.
Yeah.
They just are. Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning are way more similar than you think they are. And so you look through the course of time, the NFL's been the same league pretty much for the last 20 years. There's 5 elite quarterbacks. Those teams are in it every single year. How many times did a healthy Peyton Manning team not make the playoffs? It's 0. How many times has a healthy Tom Brady team not made the playoffs?
0.
It's 0. How many times did a healthy Drew Brees team after he left San Diego not make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm headed with this?
Mm-hmm.
The other spots in the playoffs are reserved for which of those average to good quarterbacks are propped up by their weapons and have above their skis years. And that's what Kirk Cousins is. Mm-hmm. That's what Kirk Cousins is. That's what Matthew Stafford is. That was my argument with Matthew Stafford. People are making him out to be elite. He ain't elite. He ain't elite, and I don't care what you put around him. He's not. At the end of the day, he's not Tom Brady. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not any of those guys. He's Kirk Cousins on steroids. Mm-hmm. And now you put the weapons around him, he's going to look very good. Does that make him elite? No. The difference between Matt Stafford and Jared Goff is nominal at best. Stafford has a bigger arm. That's it. Jared Goff's one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. They're different, but talent-wise, they're very similar.
Okay.
And Bet Now guy in the comments said, I want a quarterback that can carry his own. That would be nice. As a Jets fan, I'm at year 30 of looking for a quarterback that can carry his own.
Right.
We never had one of those.
No.
Not for 5 seconds have I ever had one of those. We had the great Chad Pennington, who, you know what he did? Didn't turn the damn ball over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, you get on me all the time of, how giddy I am about my team. Well, yeah, because this is, even though we won a Super Bowl at one point, this is completely different. This is a team that's led by an elite quarterback, something I've never seen before. No. Tom Brady, I said this when the news came out. Remember, it was just groundbreaking that Tom Brady's going to go to Tampa Bay. Do you remember what I said about that? He doesn't have to take a snap for this team for him to be the greatest quarterback in Tampa Bay history. Just the fact that his name was on the friggin' roster mattered. Elite quarterbacks matter.
Oh, here's a question that I would really like to answer before we get out of here.
Okay.
First of all, Patrick Holt said Stafford had more heart than most quarterbacks, though he's a field warrior. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that differentiates him and I'm trying to think. Jared Goff. I never felt like Jared Goff had a ton of emotional investment. I always felt like he was a very talented kid, that if he had Matt Stafford's heart, they'd be a lot closer to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Johnson asked, has there ever been a quarterback as hyped as much as Trevor Lawrence that's looked this bad? More than you think. There have been a lot of rookie quarterbacks that were not particularly good. Andrew Luck was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
What does he need? An offensive coach. Do you know who the two people coordinating that offense are?
It's Jay Gruden.
Nope.
I thought he was.
He's on the staff, but he's not one of the two. There are two higher-ranking offensive assistants than him.
Remind me.
It's Brian Schottenheimer and Darrell Bevel.
That's right.
First of all, Brian Schottenheimer was our offensive coordinator for a long time.
Right.
He was a train wreck. Darrell Bevel, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fine coach. I don't think he's a good one. He needs a Joe Brady or a real visionary offensive mind that can cater a system to him.
Yep.
Because Trevor Lawrence can be that. He can be Peyton Manning. But you also can't put guys like that behind total dog shit. I did a breakdown of the Jaguars' 22-man roster. God, this has been probably a month ago for a Jaguars podcast. Do you know how many other players are below average NFL players? Of their 22 week one starters, 18 of the 22 are below average NFL starters. You can't be on a team that bad. I don't care how good you are. If you put Peyton Manning on the Detroit Lions, he would have looked strikingly like Trevor Lawrence, especially early.
That's like throwing gas on a fire. It's like throwing gas on a fire of just, I don't have the weapons that I need. I don't have the protection that I need. I don't have the leadership that I need. And anybody can look horrible. That's why we were talking about this, a week ago, are you ready to give up on Trevor Lawrence? In this system, with this coach? Maybe. He may get damaged permanently, and you'll never come back from it. See, that's what I think Shad Khan needs to be looking at right now, going, I have this guy that everybody says is a generational talent, and look what's happened.
So
I don't care that it's only been 14 games.
This is a story for another day, but I hear people say this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Name me the quarterback that's ever been broken.
David Carr.
I knew that's who you were going to say.
David Carr
wasn't that good in the first place. David Carr wasn't that good in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
David Carr picked apart bad competition at Fresno State, and people fell for his arm.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't broken. He was skittish in college. It's just nobody got to him.
Okay.
I always hear the same three names when people say, oh, look what happens when you break a quarterback. It's Ryan Leaf, it's David Carr, and it's Jamarcus Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Jamarcus Russell had an IQ of about this bell right here, and he had the work ethic of the can sitting beside it.
Mm-hmm.
He had $1 million arm and a 10-cent brain. Jamarcus Russell wasn't broken by anything other than the fact that he was lazy as fuck.
Right.
I don't care where you put him. I don't care if you put him playing for Bill Belichick. It wouldn't have mattered. Ryan Leaf, same thing, because he liked all the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
If it could be smoked, snorted, shot into your arm, shot up your ass, putting your hair in shampoo, if it got you fucked up, he loved it.
Is that a thing? Putting drugs in your shampoo?
I don't know. Probably. I don't do drugs, so I don't know. And yes, this is a natural high.
I thought this might have been something that you had learned from all your true crime documentaries that you watched.
It would be more likely that I learned it from my times in West Virginia, but it's nice. West Virginia making calls.
Oh.
Don't have a pill bottle, so it loses a little of its effect with a bell.
No, so there's no quarterback that's ever been broken by a system. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to go through the ones that I'm seeing in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
RG3, he was overdrafted. I said it the minute they took him. If you watched him at Baylor and went, yeah, that's a guy I need to drop my whole future on, because I looked at him and went, you're slight and you don't know how to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Leinart, he was propped up by the talent around him. Yeah, Matt Leinart would have been great if he could have played on, let's see, if he had Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson and Shannon Sharp, because that's basically what he had at USC. He had the best receiver in the country, the best tight end in the country, the best running back in the country.
Right.
He got propped up. Vince Young. It's another one. You know what Vince Young got on the Wonderlic? Drool. He weren't the smartest quarterback you ever seen.
Right.
And there were teams that interviewed him that went, nope. Seacrest, out. He can't break down plays. Mm-hmm. Jake Locker, he's another one that was hyper athletic. And that's one of the things that I've always had drawbacks on hyper athletic quarterbacks. You look at somebody like Jake Locker, who was built like a linebacker and ran about a 4.5. He's the most athletic guy on every field he never learned how to play the position. Mm-hmm. Jake Locker looked like a running back playing quarterback for a long time. And then finally people realized, oh, you can't do this.
Right.
Jake Locker was way more Jalen Hurts than he was Michael Vick. He just was. He didn't have he had a cannon, but he didn't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. He was like a little kid that just discovered his dick. Like, I don't even know what to do with it. I just love it so much. that was Jake Locker every time he threw a football.
Right.
That narrative of, oh, we're going to break a guy. Well, then he was fragile. Mm-hmm. Name me a great quarterback that was fragile. There aren't many. There were a few. Donovan McNabb was a little fragile. Yeah. Mentally. Mm-hmm. Nice guy, good quarterback, but he was fragile. Mm-hmm. Tim Couch is system quarterback. Tim Couch was the first thought for me of, well, the spread's not going to work in the NFL. Well, it's a little before his time. I would argue Tim Couch could have been drafted in 2015. He'd probably been a Pro Bowler. Because Tim Couch was real good at one thing. I can make two reads. I am firing that ball on the second one because I don't know where to go with my eyes after two.
Right.
But he had a great arm. But he could get first read, second read. Bah! He also made the playoffs. People forget that.
He did.
With the Browns and Butch Davis. Then they fired Butch Davis, and from there they went, hey, look at this homeless guy. I bet he could coach us.
Right.
I couldn't name you one of those coaches off the top of my head, but they were, good God, they were poorly coached.
When their best wide receiver was Michael Jackson, wasn't he on that team? On that Browns team?
You're a little, oh God, Michael Jackson, he played for the Ravens in like the back end of the 90s.
I thought he was with the Browns and made the move to Baltimore with them.
He was, but Tim Couch was
wasn't that Tim Couch?
No, Tim Couch was on the new Browns. Tim Couch was the first pick of the new Browns.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
2000.
Yeah.
Or 99. He was the number one pick in the 99 draft.
Okay.
I mean, and look, are there guys that got put in bad situations that you just look at and go, well, that could have been better? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I've never looked at a quarterback and gone, well, you got broken. You know, you would have been a great quarterback in the NFL, but they broke you. If that was ever a thing, Andrew Luck would have never been shit in this league.
Right.
Because I think Deshaun Watson, same thing. Both of them got hit so many times the first 2-3 years in the league that I'm literally shocked that they don't walk on canes right now.
All right, we need to wrap this thing up. We got stuff to do in between the shows. We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville. Before we get out of here, I saw one comment in the thread. Anybody to pick up on the waiver wire this week? Looking for somebody to play at wide receiver. It's not a whole lot. I mean, Rashad Penny, after his 2-touchdown performance this past week,
is very cautious of that.
He's going to be the number one waiver wire pickup in just about every league. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and throw out Jalen Guyton again. He's another guy that's still 20% owned, and he's had back-to-back big weeks. So.
If you're in a deep league, Craig Reynolds.
Craig Reynolds? Is that Josh's brother?
No, but on the same team.
Okay.
Running back for the Lions. He looked really good against Denver. I don't think DeAndre Swift is coming back because this team has really nothing to play for. And why would you put the tread on Jamal Williams?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, this is what you see bad teams do. Mm-hmm. At the end of the year, they'll find this cute little toy and they'll go, well, let's figure out what we have in him. And I could very easily see him being fantasy relevant for the last handful of weeks.
Yep. If you're not going to be in the sweepstakes for Rashad Penny and you need a running back, Kenny Gainwell's still out there in a lot of leagues. He's only 15, 18% owned, something like that. You don't know what Miles Sanders is going to be coming back, and they do play the Washington football team this week, so they're going to continue with the run-heavy offense, so Kenny Gainwell could have some value for you. That's about all I got. Any other wide receivers that?
No, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
If they're still out there. KJ Osborne, if he's still out there. KJ Osborne. If he's still out there and Adam Thielen remains out.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tough time.
It is.
This is I'm in. I don't even know how many playoffs I'm in. I probably should check that after the show because I haven't even looked. I set my roster every week and just go, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But, just I would be remiss if we didn't end the show with just a serious, heartfelt thank you to everybody in our chat. That is, in no way is that why we brought this up. We were just, we're very honest with you guys. And somebody, I don't remember who, somebody said it in our Discord that it was very obvious there was something up with us yesterday. Mm-hmm. And it's very tough to even explain, how much you guys and just all of this means to us.
Right.
It has been a hard couple days, and all of our thoughts and all of our prayers are with family, and we will make sure that all of your very generous contributions go to something to help in this time.
Absolutely. We appreciate all of the support that you have given us. We will make sure that all of your donations go straight to the Short family. Again, thoughts and prayers to continue to be with them, because losing a child is something that a parent should never have to deal with.
Ever.
And unfortunately, the world's not fair. And God tests us in very weird ways. And, I'm not the most spiritual of people, but this is one time that you need to lean on that. You need to lean on that, and that's what the Short family is doing right now, and we are all going to be their safety net as much as we possibly can to make sure that they get through this horrible, unimaginable time in losing a 17-year-old kid.
And Jason
awful.
Trump said it in the comments, they're asking for their privacy at this time.
Yes.
If you want to contribute cards, food, anything like that.
Kenny Snyder,
it can be taken to the social.
Kenny Snyder, the general manager of the social over in East Asheville, is accepting food donations on behalf of the Short family. He will gather all of the food donations at the house or at the restaurant, and then he will take it to them. We've already made plans in our family. We're going to send lasagnas. If you want to participate in that, I just want to throw in a note. Corey is a vegetarian. So throw in a vegetarian, or excuse me, a vegan. He is a vegan. So throw in a vegan option for Corey, just to know that we love and care and will always support them for the things that they have done for us. And again, we thank you. And we will be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. And, of course, the Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. 3 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow, Power Rankings right here at 10 o'clock.
And it will be recorded. Tomorrow morning it will be recorded.
Yep.
We
will have a day off tomorrow. We will
completely. We will not be here at all.
We will not have an ESPN show tomorrow afternoon. We're having the iHeart Christmas party, and they scheduled it during our show, and we were like, "Hey, take the layup. Why not?" So we're gonna go do that tomorrow afternoon. We're gonna get other stuff done throughout the day, and we will be back with you right here tomorrow morning with the recorded Power Rankings for the week. Live back again with you Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Everyone, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we will see you next time.